I'm talking about Tekken Advance for the Game Boy Advance. Now, Tekken's always been one of my favorite fighting games on the PlayStation, and now we have it in a portable system for the Game Boy Advance. And what they did is they basically took Tekken 3, all the modes and the styles and the characters, and they brought it over to the Game Boy Advance. Of course, you have arcade mode, and you have versus battle mode, where you can hook up two Game Boy Advances and play with each other. You have time attack and survival mode and tag battle and versus tag battle with two players too, so that's pretty cool. Now, they have most of the characters in there, but I couldn't find Michelle in this thing, which kind of bummed me out, because I love Michelle, of course. Who doesn't? I gotta tell you, it really feels like it is 3D. You know, they're kind of tricking you. It isn't exactly all 3D polygons like the original Tekken was, but boy, it sure feels like it. They're using the kind of mode 7, which is a technique in the Nintendo where it kind of tricks you into thinking it's 3D. It's really cool. Because there's only 2 buttons on the Game Boy Advance, and there was always 4 for Tekken, they've kind of condensed them down to punch and kick. And then you can grab and throw with one of these buttons, but you still have defense by pressing back, and it's very challenging still. But I was a little disappointed because, you know, in Tekken, when you go through all the characters and you beat Hayachi at the end, you get this really cool cinematic storyline-based reward as an ending. Well, they don't have that in here. It just goes to black and rolls credits. So I wish they could have put in that little extra thing. It makes you feel good about kicking butt. If you love Tekken on the PlayStation, you're going to freak out because now you can carry it around with you. Tekken Advance for the Game Boy Advance, I got to give it a 9.
Why, hey! So we're back on Hoth, and we're going to talk about Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the Nintendo GameCube from Sega.
How weird is it seeing Sonic the Hedgehog on the Nintendo system?
I think it's actually kind of fitting.
Originally, this game was on the Dreamcast.
This is exactly the same game that was on the Sega Dreamcast, but with some additions. We have 3 different categories of characters. You play as the hero side, or you can play as the dark side. The speedy character, which is Sonic or Shadow. There's the explorer characters, which are Knuckles or Rouge. And then there's the mech characters, Dr. Robotnik or Tails.
Yes, well, I gotta tell you, I didn't like the Dreamcast version of this game, and guess what?
You don't like the GameCube?
I certainly do not like the GameCube version of this game.
Well, I gotta go on the record, I like the Dreamcast version of Sonic Adventure 2, and I like Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube.
Oh, hold on. You're saying that you want to go on record as saying it's a good game.
I think this is a good game.
Well, let's go from the top.
Okay.
The VO acting is absolutely atrocious.
Atrocious it is.
Say something! Say head-on! Chaos control!
They're trying to do that whole 80s, trying to be rock and roll, pop music vibe, you know. Sonic, yeah, go Sonic.
I wasn't surprised by the music. It's so cheesy and predictable that it's almost charming.
Do you understand what he just said? It's so cheesy that it's charming.
It is. It's a little charming.
This is what I have to deal with.
The coolest thing about Sonic Adventure 2 is the flat-out speed of the game. When you're playing as Sonic or Shadow, the way that you can move around the environments is just stunning. I love that he gets chased by giant trucks. I love that he can swing on huge vines across giant trees.
But you're not really in control of it. I always feel like I'm just flying. I'm watching him fly down a rail or watching him climb up or down a building, you know? I want to be in control of my character. I will admit, the screen goes so fast. I mean, the character is just rolling up and down the thing, and you're like, ah, slow down, Sonic, for crying out loud. The cars look very phony. Things keep popping into the world.
It's a cartoon. It's an animated game.
Things keep popping into the car. Hey, compared to a game like Maximum on the PlayStation 2, that's a great cartoony-looking game.
But that was built from the ground up. They couldn't go back and...
It's not my fault they ported the game.
It would have taken another couple of years before we would have seen Sonic on the GameCube, and I think it was the right decision. And I think GameCube owners are going to be happy because now they have a mascot platform game to play. Now, here's the biggest new development in the new Sonic game for the GameCube, the virtual pet. It's called the Chow. You can port your Chow into your Game Boy Advance. And you can have little races and little Chow karate events and things like that.
It just seems like they took our beloved Sonic character and said, okay, well, what's cool these days? Well, mechs are cool in video games. Let's put mechs in there. Well, Tamagotchis and Pokemon is cool. Let's throw that in there, too.
You can't fault developers for wanting to try new things. And I think that for the most part, they've succeeded on a lot of this stuff, but the game has its flaws. I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
What about you?
Oh, man, you should eat that yellow snow.
I'm not going near that yellow
I'm
snow.
giving it a 4.5. It's not fun. It's not entertaining. You're struggling with the controls constantly.
Well, on the positive side, we're both impressed by the speed of Sonic Adventure 2, although we felt it may get out of control a little bit too much.
Right.
We were impressed by the ambition of the developers and how much they threw into the game, and we were pleased to see the integration with the Game Boy Advance.
But on the negative side, neither of us liked the voiceovers. You never really felt like you had 100% control of the character. And lastly, it was too ambitious. There was too many things to do. Would have liked to see them focus more on just straight fun gameplay as opposed to adding a million different things.